Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my kitchen. It's been a long while. Some of you might not have watched, but my husband had triple bypass surgery at the end of July. So I took some time off from recording and now I'm back to recording. This one has been on my plan of recording for a while, but now I'm just getting around to it. And it's homemade cinnamon raisin bagels, and it's the first time I'm ever trying to make bagels. So I'm going to turn you around and show you what we're going to need for this recipe. Alright, for this recipe we're going to need 1 1/2 cup of water, which I don't have out yet. You need 1 packet of dry active yeast, and I keep mine in my freezer. And then when I need it, I dig it out. You need 2 1/2 tablespoons of dark brown sugar, but mine is light. It's what I use and what I buy. So, hold on. You're going to need 1 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla. It says you can use vanilla bean paste or vanilla extract. So that's what I got. And you're going to need, which I use 4 of these, it equals 4 of these little boxes, but it's, excuse me, 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of raisins. Need 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 1 to 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. And I skipped over, you need 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And it has vegetable oil. I had to see what I have. And for the water bath, or for the equipment, you need your stand mixer, 2 sheet pans, and a large pot for boiling bagels. And for the water bath, we're going to need 10 cups of water for boiling and 1/4 of a cup of dark brown sugar. But we're going to be using this. So I'm going to get you up on my tripod and we'll get this started. Okay, I have you set up on a chair. My husband got me a new tripod, but it's on the shorter side. So we're going to go with the flow, okay? So in the mixer, this is the warm water, 1.5 cups. And then we're going to add in the 2 tablespoons and, hold on. Okay, we're going to add the 2 tablespoons and a half of the brown sugar. Which I will put the brown sugar in first so I can get it dissolved. That in there. Then we're going to add the yeast, and then we're going to let this sit and bloom for 5 minutes. So I'm going to let that sit and do its thing, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, while that's doing its thing, we're going to add, I already got the 4 cups of flour here, but in this I'm going to add the cinnamon and the salt, and we're going to mix that in. So we need 2 teaspoons of salt, 1, 2, and then we need 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, easier to mix cinnamon with dry than it is with wet. And I'll be setting this in my oven for, and there's our timer, for an hour and a half once we get this all in the stand mixer. So I'm going to show you what that yeast looks like, and we'll get this all in there. Alright, just want to show you, you see all the bubbles in the yeast. So now we're going to sit you back up here on the chair with the tripod, and in here we are going to add the, let's see what else we need. We need the oil is to coat the dough. So once we get everything in here, we're going to need this for 5 to 10 minutes, but we're going to add the flour, the vanilla, and the raisins. So I think I'll add in the vanilla first, and we need 1 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla. I might invest in some of that vanilla bean paste. I heard it's supposed to be really good. But for now, we are using what we got, and that's what I got. So now we're going to add in I'm going to take this hook off first, and then we'll put it back on. We're going to add in the flour. For some reason it wants to stick to the bowl. Don't know why I want to stick, but we got it in there, and now we're, sorry, should have had these over here. Now we're going to put these raisins in. Now we're going to put the hook back on and lock it. Turn it on, and then I'm going to set my timer. First we'll do 5 and see what it looks like. So I'm going to let this do its thing, and we'll be back. I'll show you what it's looking like, because it says you want to knead until smooth but very firm, and that says 5 to 10 minutes. So we did the 5 first, and then after this, you're supposed to smooth it out on your counter, and then I'm going to stick it in my bowl that I always use to let things proof in my oven. So I'm going to let this go, and I'll be back when the timer goes off. Alright, the timer went off, but the dough looks a little sticky. So I'm going to turn the timer back on for 5 minutes, and then after that we'll see. I think I added a little too much flour, but we'll get there. Alright, I got it out on my mat, and I kneaded it a little bit with some flour so it's not so sticky now. Now I'm going to get the bowl ready, and I'm going to stick it in my oven with the light on for an hour and a half. And then we'll be back when it's done proofing. Alright, my timer went off. We're gonna play a little, move you around here to get you in a good spot. Like I said, you're on it. They're on a chair, so my husband's gonna try to make this one taller. So there is the dough. Smells good. And I just let this out. It's a little, got a little flour on it, but this is supposed to make 10. So and I think there's a little too much oil on these, but like I said, this is to make 10, so I figure I'd make these first, which I don't think I should have used the whole 2 tablespoons. Look at this. I don't know if you can tell. Look at this. The 2 tablespoons of oil that it said to use. So I'm going to use my bench scraper carefully on my mat to cut these evenly to where I can get 10. These bigger ones, I might cut them in half again. I actually might get more than let's see. All right. And now what we're supposed to do is roll them into a ball. Like I said, I've never done this before. I've made English muffins before, which I'm going to start. And then you're supposed to, actually I'll just use, I'll roll it in my hand. But you're supposed to go make a hole. They say you don't want to make it too big, but because after I get these all rolled out, I'm going to put my water on. It said 10 cups, but I'm going to use 12 cups of water, which I already got in my pan over there. And I'm just, once I get those holes made, I'm setting them over there. So I'm going to get these all rolled out, and then I'll be back for us to put them in the water. Alright, I have the water on. I got to bring this to a boil. Here are 6 of the bagels. These ones are going to be bigger than these ones. These are, they look good. And then here's the other ones. I reshaped them to make 10. So now I'm going to turn the oven on to 425. And while that comes to temp, my water's going to be coming to a boil. So when that all, because once this gets to a rolling boil, we're going to add in the brown sugar, stir it around. You're going to need a slotted spoon. Good thing I had this for my canning. And when they're all done, we're going to stick them in the oven at 425 for, I think it's 425 for 20 to 25 minutes. So I'll be back when this is to a boil. Alright, the water is coming to a rolling boil. Now I'm going to add the brown sugar. And stir that till it dissolves, and then it has to come back to a now we're going to put these bagels in. Timer for a minute on each side. And these will last, they say, in the refrigerator for 1 to 2 weeks, and you can freeze for several months, which mine will be for my breakfast, which I will let you know tomorrow how these turn out. And because I've never made bagels, but I told my husband if these turn out and I like them, then that's what I'm going to do from now on, is make my own bagels. And I'm going to make some English muffins too, because I've made those before too. Alright, now we're going to flip them over. That side for a minute. And I have the oven as at 425. So I'm going to be back when these are all done. Alright, I have them all done. All the water, well, it's basically water bath. Now they're going to go in the oven for 20 minutes. Alright, I dug them out of the oven. They were in there for 25 minutes. This is what they look like. Now I'm going to set them back there on a cooling rack to cool off. And I'll be back tomorrow to let you know how they turned out. Alright, here is what it looks like after I got it out of the toaster. And I'll let you know how it tastes. Alright, it's been a few days and I figured I'd get on before I forget to let you know what I thought of the bagels. They're dense, they're good, and I will make them again. I'm the only one that's eaten them. That's who I made them for, was for myself. I had a little hiccups along the way, but they turned out, they're good. That's all that matters. So if you could give this a video, like, a share, a comment, and let me know your thoughts. Did I use too much flour? I don't think I used too much water, but I think it was the flour. But they turned out, and I'm eating them. So if you could give this video a like, a share, a comment, and I will see you in the next one.